Hi y'all. So today, I thought I would do something a little different from my last few videos. I won't be reviewing a movie, but I will be reviewing deaths in the Terminator universe, as if they have anything to do with one another. I reviewed all 6 Terminator movies on my channel that you can watch right here, but one thing I didn't really mention at all were the kills, because they weren't that important with what I had to say. But I will be counting kills from the 3rd, 4th and 5th movie, even though they aren't canon anymore. So let's just start the video right now, I guess. Number 10. Coming in at number 10 comes a brutal kill from my favourite Terminator film, The Terminator. In this mystery horror action sci-fi film by James Cameron, Arnold drives into a driveway looking for Sarah Connor and politely knocking at the door. When he finds Sarah, played by Marianne Mullilet, the wrong Sarah that is, he loses his shit and breaks into the house whilst pulling out his AMT hardballer with 45 long slide with laser sighting. That's right, I do my research. We only see her face of confusion and the laser dot on her head, whilst the rest is left of the imagination. But the true cream of a crop is when the T-800 shoots her multiple times afterwards to ensure the job is done. Number 9. I obviously don't have footage of this one, so here's a drawing I made in my Dark Fate review that you can watch right here. At number 9 comes probably the ballsiest kill in the franchise, and this kill wouldn't happen if not for James Cameron's persistence to make it happen. I thought Dark Fate was okay for the most part, but truly one of the tight gripping moments is when the T-800 shows up in front of John Connor, who is voiced by Aaron Krunitz, with reference to Edward Furlong's John Connor, my second favourite John Connor. In this scene, the T-800 isn't here to learn cool one-liners that will still be famous in almost 3 decades. He is here to shoot the young boy dead. We only see a dead body and Sarah crying at the loss of her son, but that's all we need. It's a powerful start to the final movie, and I like how it's tied in later. It's a heart-wrenching moment, and I like the idea of this movie trying to be different from others, at least a little bit. Number 8. At number 8, we have a kill from my least favourite Terminator movie, Terminator Genisys. This movie is boring and hopeless when it comes to character writing and the script, but 3 things that stood out to me, kinda, was Arnold, the bad boy song, and a kill. In this kill, Daenerys is chased by a T-1000 played by Byung-hun Lee. She finds herself under a bunch of acid and shoots the roof, releasing all the acid on the T-1000 down to its endoskeleton. But it comes back for one last scare until Arnold grabs him and puts him under acid to finish the job, melting it into nothingness. The effects aren't that bad and it's an effective way to kill those bastards. Number 7. In number 7 we have another kill from the first movie. In a show of true passion, the Terminator asks to enter the station. When rejected, the Terminator doesn't bother to say goodbye.
I'll be back.
He comes back crashing into the station with a 1975 Chevrolet Nova, killing an officer and shooting 16 others, including Hal and Eddie, who are the best cops ever to be put on television. I love that the annoying police are getting shot because they were truly, really just stupid. But I also like the different guns Arnold is using. In this scene, he uses both an Armalite AR-18 and a Franchi Spas-12, sometimes even on the same cop. It's a fun scene and you get so many angles and views of it, and one of the best sequences of a movie, and it would be wrong not to put it on this list. Number 6. At number 6, let's go back to a bad Terminator movie. I never really liked Terminator 3, but this movie is unintentionally hilarious, but there will always be one scene that is both the best and the funniest. I am of course talking about that one cop, played by Jay Acovone. This kill stood out to me in this movie, but I even mentioned it in my review. He drives the TX in his police car, but the TX hates being in the back seat, so she punches him through the chest, and if that wasn't enough, she starts driving the car herself through his chest. It's the kind of goofy dramatic kill that I expect in one of these movies, and it's truly the best scene in the movie.
I mean, crap, man. Look at that.
Number 5. With number 5, let's go a little old school again and include another Terminator. In the climax of the first movie, the T-800 is blown up and burned to its endoskeleton. It's still kicking, but it gets blown up again and loses his leg. But mental Anakin Skywalker isn't dead just yet and still crawls until death finally catches up with him, and it gets crushed by a hydraulic machine. The real moment is when the music starts playing and that red eye starts to turn off. Machine kills machine. Very poetic. Number 4. The fourth best kill is the first time we have one from the second movie, Judgment Day. There are a lot of good things, but one thing people consider the best scene is when Arnold willingly drops into lava despite John's pleas to stay. The T-800 gives one sad line of dialogue, which makes our heart drops and our tears flow, and then he drops himself into the fire with nothing but a thumbs up as Brad Fiedler's awesome score starts playing. Number 3. The next kill, once again, happens in the original, but unlike the last one, happens in the beginning. The T-800 arrives all nude and meets 3 prude pranks that refuse to give him clothing. And Arnold returns the favor by punching his fist through one of them and taking out the heart of the lead punk played by Brian Thompson, along with his extremely bloodied fist. This is the first kill of the whole franchise, and it's a powerful one, showing the brute strength of a Terminator and how it doesn't need guns to get the job done. Number 2. Number 2 is pretty obvious, since this is close to the end of the list, and it has to go to the one and only T-1000 in Terminator 2. The T-1000 tries to catch up to our heroes but freezes due to some liquid nitrogen and starts cracking, whilst Arnold shoots it with a hybrid Colt Detonics M1911A1. Despite the powerful moment, the Colt only stops the T-1000 temporarily. After being cornered into lava and being shot several times by Sarah's Remington 870 shotgun, Arnold brings out the big guns, pops a grenade from his M79 40mm grenade launcher into the belly of the beast, and then it implodes in an effect created by Stan Winston, who did Jurassic Park Dinosaurs, the original Predator, Iron Man, Edward Scissorhands, and Inspector Gadget. As if this wasn't an abomination already, the T-1000 falls into lava and melts. As it tries to escape its impending doom, it makes the most inhuman noises known to man, and reveals its true form, just showing how this human shapeshifter is far off from being human. It ends with the T-1000's mouth going inside out until it's fully terminated. Number 1. The number 1 kill is a bit more well shot and better executed than it is graphic. One of the funniest and scariest scenes in Terminator 2 Judgment Day is when John tries to warn his foster parents about the T-1000, but during a conversation with Janelle Voight, portrayed by Jeanette Goldstein, John knows something isn't right. Todd Voight, portrayed by Xander Berkeley, who you might know from Candyman, interrupts the phone call, and then this happens.
I thought you were gonna tell the kid to get rid of that fucking mutt.
After Arnold hangs up the phone, after a disturbing moment of Janelle not knowing the name of the dog, the shot pans towards Xander to find out he has been stabbed through the mouth by a knife of the T-1000, showing that low-fat milk is awful and he should be drinking skimmed instead. Oh, and yeah, he is also dead. Yeah, he's really dead. Todd, man, you keep having bad luck with dead love interests. Maybe change your approach next time. The fear of it all is that this is the first time we see the shape-shifting ability and that Janelle has died off screen, as well as the T-1000 cutting vegetables. Your job is to kill John Connor. Why do you want to make him more healthy? Now that's my ranking, but why not have some honorable mentions for the fun of it? The first one is the gun shop owner played by Dick Miller, who gets shot by a Franchi Spas 12 shotgun, which came with an Arnold catchphrase.
You can't do that.
I left this off the list because, whilst this is a great scene, it is one of the less cooler kills of the movie. The second one is the TX, which gets blown up by T-850's stomach bomb. I don't know what the fuck these are called. Whilst the melting effects look great, this death loses points for that ridiculous expression the Terminator keeps making. The last one is Louis the Guard, played by Don Stanton, while the T-1000 rises from the ground, transforms into Louis, who is actually played by Don's twin brother Dan Stanton, and stabs Louis through the eye. This is a great kill in concept, but loses points for the obvious dummy and the silly dance that Louis does. I also have some fun facts about some of the kills. When making the TX kill, it took an entire year for Stan Winston to create the melting effect. I repeat, an entire year. And I know in this scene no one actually dies, but in the dream sequence that Sarah has, the nuclear explosion that takes place took several months for Stan Winston and his crew to master, and it has been called the most accurate nuclear explosion ever shown on television by actual experts. And once again, nobody dies in this scene, but since I've talked so much about guns in this video, I might as well say that the minigun Arnold Schwarzenegger uses in this movie is the same minigun he uses in Predator. And since the foster parent's death scene is my favourite kill in the entire series, I might as well say that the conversation that Arnold has with Robert Patrick, while the T-1000 is pretending to be Janelle, while Arnold's pretending to be John, is the only conversation the two actually have in the entire movie. The only other exception being when Arnold says "Hasta la vista, baby" to a frozen Terminator. And my personal favourite fun fact, which has to do with the T-800's final battle in the original Terminator, is that the scene where the Terminator rises from the ground and you see its endoskeleton, that was the scene that actually inspired James Cameron to make it the first movie, by him having a nightmare. Also, apparently, James Cameron made his own sketches of the Terminator endoskeleton and showed them to Stan Winston. Stan Winston didn't do that, but gladly takes credit for it. Well, that's all for now. Not completely sure what video I'll make next, but I'll think of something. Anyway, goodbye. See ya. And don't forget to live free. And by living free, I mean subscribe, like, and comment.